The night carries a silence only known to those who have tasted both power and pain. In the vast expanse of the desert, where even the wind bows before the moon, Sheikh Hamdan walks alone, his heart echoing louder than the roars of nations. The world sees the crown, the glory, the gold, the grandeur, but beneath that radiant image lies a soul carved by solitude. His silence is not emptiness, it is a fortress. Every quiet breath holds stories untold, every glance hides the weight of 1,000 responsibilities. The man the world calls Fazza, the poet, the prince, has mastered the rarest art of all, strength without noise. In his silence, kingdoms are born and rebuilt. The power he wields does not come from his title, but from the way he holds himself when the world trembles. When others speak to be heard, he listens to understand. When storms rise, he stands unmoved, for he has learned that stillness is the true language of wisdom. The falcon that circles above mirrors his spirit, free, watchful, and untamed. He leads not with command, but with presence, not with thunder, but with calm conviction that even silence can shape destinies. There are moments when the burden of a crown becomes a quiet war within. When the expectations of the world clash with the whispers of the heart. Yet Fazza has learned to embrace that conflict. He does not run from it, he refines himself through it. The world may never see his tears, but the desert does. The dunes have witnessed his prayers beneath the stars, where he lays down his armor and becomes only a man, one who loves, hurts, hopes, and heals. In those sacred silences, he finds what power cannot offer, peace. He walks through life as though time itself bows to his grace. Not because of wealth or status, but because he carries something rarer, discipline woven with compassion. He could rule through fear, but he chooses to rule through love. His silence, often mistaken for distance, is his deepest connection to truth. It is in that quiet where he speaks most clearly, through his poetry, his gaze, and his unshakable calm. While others seek to prove their worth with noise, Sheikh Hamdan's strength radiates through restraint. There are those who say a leader must roar to be followed. Fazza disproves the belief with every breath he takes. His leadership is carved from serenity, his authority from humility. Even when pain strikes like desert lightning, he does not crumble. He turns inward, letting silence heal what words cannot. In that stillness, he draws his power, not from applause, but from purpose. The falcons know him not as a ruler, but as a brother of the wind, one whose heart beats in rhythm with creation itself. Behind the crown lies a poet who bleeds verses instead of anger. His silence becomes his scripture. Through it, he speaks to those who have forgotten that gentleness is strength, that patience is power. He listens to the suffering of others and answers not with speeches, but with action, quiet, steady, transformative action. Every soul he touches carries away a fragment of his calm, unaware that his stillness is the language of healing. Fazza does not need to speak to be understood. His silence is a prayer the world unknowingly hears. In the palace halls, where ambition often shouts, his footsteps are deliberate, soft, yet commanding. There is something eternal about his composure, an aura that speaks of battles won within rather than wars waged without. The people see the grace, but few see the discipline behind it, the nights of introspection, the endless striving for balance between the man and the monarch. He wears humility like armor, faith like a crown, and silence like a sword. Sometimes, when the moon rises high above Dubai's skyline, he escapes the noise of the world to find himself among the dunes. There, the silence greets him as an equal. The desert remembers his laughter, his tears, his poems written to the stars. In those moments, Sheikh Hamdan ceases to be a prince, he becomes a seeker. The wind carries his thoughts across the endless sands, and for a brief moment, he is both everything and nothing. That is the essence of his strength. There are times when silence must scream louder than speeches, and he knows exactly when to let it speak. In moments of injustice, his stillness becomes a mirror that forces the world to confront itself. In moments of grief, it becomes a balm. His restraint is not weakness, it is mastery. He has learned that a true leader does not chase power, he embodies it. Fazza's hidden strength lies in the way he remains kind in a world that tests his patience, silent in a world that demands noise. Every poem he writes is an echo of that inner power. The words are simple, but the silence between them carries eternity. His verses do not demand attention, they invite introspection. The people feel his spirit through the unspoken lines, sensing that every pause, every breath, holds more meaning than 1,000 proclamations. That is the brilliance of Fazza, the poet who rules hearts not through words, but through the spaces between them. The crown may rest upon his head, but it is silence that rests within his soul. It shields him from the vanity of power and reminds him of his purpose, to serve, to protect, to inspire. In that silence, he hears the prayers of his people, the heartbeat of his land, the whisper of destiny guiding his path. The world will remember his achievements, but the wise will remember his composure. In every age, there are kings who rule through might and those who rule through meaning. Sheikh Hamdan belongs to the latter. His silence is not emptiness, it is eloquence. It is the proof that power and peace can coexist, that true royalty does not need to declare itself, it simply is. The falcon flies across the sunrise, and beneath it, the prince watches, still as stone, infinite as sand. When silence speaks louder than the crown, the world finally understands, the greatest strength is not in conquering others, but in mastering oneself. Fazza has done what few can, he has turned stillness into legacy. The desert listens. The stars bear witness. And the silence continues to speak, in the language only the heart can hear.